Welcome to another episode of Real Talk with Real Fit Pros. It's your boy, Jonathan Loudermilk, and I've got my PIC, partner in crime, Mark, the fitness ninja, sounding off. I don't know why I feel like I have to like change my tone towards the end, but I feel like that's the best way to say it, Mark.
Oh, there's always inflection.
Yeah.
You have to. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, I just don't know why, but that's how it sounds in my head every time I hear that. So
the ring announcer, it's the ring announcer stuff.
Working on my Bruce, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, we got a great episode for you guys and gals tuning in today. But as always, before we kick it in and get into the subject of the day, Mark's got a damn good story. Damn good.
Yeah, it's a funny one. However, if you're listening to this, subscribe, leave us a review, screenshot it, tag us on the Facebooks, tag us on the Instagram at Fit Pro Bros. Maybe we'll send you something, or maybe we won't. I don't know. Just do it anyway because you like us and we're entertaining. So I have a wife who does strongman competitions, and she's been doing these for a couple of years. In last year, she kind of took the year off, but I managed to motivate one of my other clients to compete in a strongman competition. So, almost everything got canceled last year, but by the grace of God, there was one here in the Metroplex in December. So one of my clients, Jessica, I got her all fired up to go do it. And so we did all the training, and I love that stuff. It's so fun. It's such a weird group of people. And, it's funny because this is a side story of the story, but at this event, it was a strongman competition. There was an Olympic, a powerlifting competition. So squat, deadlift, and bench. And then there was a bodybuilding competition. And those are three very unique group of people. You got your bodybuilders, it's all about vanity. And then I'm not saying you're vain if you're a bodybuilder, but some of them kind of are. And then you got your power lifters who are like super serious and, they've been honing in on their technique forever. And then you got your strongman people who, most of them are just coping with emotional issues by throwing heavy shit around. And it's really fun. And I enjoy doing that too. So, draw two and two together on that. Anyway, so my client, Jessica, she gets to this competition and I'm there obviously to coach her and help her and strategize. And some of the participants are wearing masks. Again, this is December of 2020 when this is happening. So it is what it is. I think they had some regulations about when you were supposed to be wearing one and when you had to take it off, whatever. So we're warming up and like all the males are on one side and all the females are on the other side. And I'm looking at this person and I'm like, that's a big woman. And I don't mean fat. So they're all warming up and again, my client, she'll take her mask off or whatever. And this person, I never saw this person take their mask off. And I'm like, And I'm kind of watching and like the first event happens. I'm like, holy crap, they're strong, right? I'm like, I don't know if that's a woman. And so, in the midst of this, in between events, I'm like, I may not be the smartest of men, pull my Forrest Gump out. I may not be a smart man, but I know a man when I see one. And so my client's like, oh my gosh, like I talked to her, him, whatever, and it has a deep voice and I'm pretty sure that's just a guy. So we, over the course of the next couple of hours, we determined that yes, this is a dude and he kept his mask on the whole time. So never took the mask off. I don't know if he had facial hair or not. You could tell he kind of had like shoulder length hair but I mean, it was for all intents and purposes, it was a dude. That's not a woman, baby. It's a man. And we're like, you know what? That ain't right. And some of the females that were competing in that division, they worked their ass off to get there. and you can believe what you want and say what you want and all that, but there is a clear physical advantage of having male genetics over female genetics. And apparently in this strongman organization or whatever it was, there were no rules about who you can identify as and where you can compete. So there's no real lesson here for this, by the way. I'm just telling a fucking story. But I don't, it really rubbed me the wrong way. And I think it kind of rubbed her the wrong way a little bit too. And it didn't affect any, her effort whatsoever, but I don't know.
I've got some questions now.
I had lots of questions.
Yeah. So was this competition, is it a female lift, right? This is for all the females, or was it just open house?
Yeah, because there's a male division and a female division, and she was in the novice division because it was her first competition, but it was all
novice.
Yep.
There was a dude.
Yeah. John's shaking his head. You can't see him shaking his head.
You know what it makes me think of? It makes me think of that South Park episode. We're gonna find out if you really like me or not. But there's a South Park episode that was very infamous in kind of poking fun at this whole thing. And once again, whatever you're into, that's cool. But we're talking about biology here. We're talking about competition and regulation. And there's a scene in South Park where he's got Macho Man Randy Savage as he's transitioning. He's like, I'm not here to talk about my transition. I'm here to talk about kicking some fucking ass. And he's murdering all these women in this competition. And to your point, man, there's a biology to this stuff. Like, I'm not saying men are better than women or women are better than men, but biologically speaking, men are inherently gifted in certain areas in the physical development area. So
I read something the other day that the fastest woman in the world at the 100-meter dash. So that's, typically whoever is the reigning champ of the 100-meter dash is the fastest person in the world. Mm-hmm. The fastest female in the world would easily get beat by the top 300 high school 100-meter athletes.
It's crazy.
So again, there's a marked difference. I know we're just preaching to the choir here because we know our audience, but there's a marked difference between physical efforts of males and females.
And I'm not saying there aren't some badass chicks out there. Like, I wouldn't fuck around with Ronda Rousey for crying out loud.
Nope, I get my ass handed to me quickly.
Absolutely. It was like when what was it, Entourage with Turtle Fodder? She's like, hey, if you can last a minute in the ring, I'll fuck you. Breaks his arm in 30 seconds. So I'm not saying there aren't like beasts of women out there, but there is still a biological advantage. So like, dude, that's a crazy ass story. Be like, hey, here's my first meet. And it probably took a lot for your client to get to that point to do that. And then here's some fucking Winter Soldier looking motherfucker coming in here with the mask and ripping weight around. That's a little disheartening.
She was big too. It was like 6 foot tall and like probably would have beat me, honestly. Like we're just being honest about it.
It was Todd.
Anyway, if you're still listening to this, you know what we should do? If you're listening to this, if you would like to hear just like soapbox episodes from John and I, just let us know. We'll craft some together.
We'll do it Joe Rogan style. We'll get the studio, get some drinks going. Just make a whole 3-hour episode of it. We can do that.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, so speaking of transitions, now we're going to talk about our topic of the day.
Absolutely. We're going to transition into some relevant information
now. We're going to talk about groups today and the people that you surround yourself with. And, where there's a cliche, there's truth. So for God knows how many years, I've always heard you're the 5 people that you associate with the most. And I used to go, you kind of blow those things, especially when you're young and stupid. You're like, you don't know any better. And you're like, whatever, I like my friends, right? And then one day you kind of wake up and realize, man, my friends are shit. Like, they're still drinking and partying and reliving their high school days. And I'm trying to get ahead and nothing's happening. And, it's something that I know for years I didn't progress in my personal life, in my business, anything, because I didn't have the right people around me. And I've said it before, like I didn't have the wrong people around me. I just had no one around me. And I kind of probably, I don't know if it was intentional or not, but I put myself on this island by myself of like, oh, woe is me, and everything's so hard and I can't figure it out. And then one day I got my head out of my ass and figured out, oh, wait, there's people out there that also want better. And I need to be proactive and go find them.
Mm.
And that was the game changer in my business, hands down. I mean, I can track it back to that moment and go, that's when shit changed.
Mm.
And John, I know, you worked for people for a long time. So you really, I don't want to say you couldn't control your environment, but you had people around you that they were going to be around you regardless.
Yeah. So
So talk about that transition for you of then being on your own and what your journey was like of finding your group of people.
So it's funny you mentioned that. So I started once you mentioned the young and dumb, and that was me to a T. I truly believed if it was meant to be, it was up to me. Because younger in my life, everything I've reached, I've done personally myself. So like I was like, I don't need anybody. Like I create and I'm successful and everything. And then life decided to teach me a bunch of lessons. Jonathan, that's a terrible way of thinking. And as I spent a large time in my career working in the more the corporate big box side of things, to your point, you don't get to control who you're around. And what I noticed is it didn't matter who I was around. I always ended up becoming around like the sum of the people I was around. So
Yep.
if I was working with scummy people, I would notice myself slipping down that slope. And if I was around good people, then I found myself going that way as well. And you don't really notice it. It's small stuff that incrementally happens over time, from your mindset to how you talk to your mannerisms, all of those things. And it got to the point where I was like, you know what? I don't really like who I've become in this corporate environment where it's just about money and it's not about people and any of that. So then I went in and became an entrepreneur, and I realized, well, fuck, it's real scary doing this by yourself, and I'm lonely.
Yep.
You're out there in your raft, and you got sharks swirling around, no pun intended, all around your raft. And you're like, damn, like this is rough. You're kind of like missing, like, man, did I make a good choice? Like, I just left the tribe to go out and fend for myself. And then you realize, like, wow, there's actually a bunch of other rafts out here. I think that's how you and I connected. I'm like, hey, you're on your raft over here. I'm on mine. You want to buddy up? We'll have more space if we put them together, Mark. And over that time, as I've connected with the right people, I've always inherently been able to get value and I don't mean value in like, here's what I get from you, but it's about the mindset shifts and the person you become through that process. And it's all unconscious, you don't really realize it. And when you get around those right people, especially when you're an entrepreneur, and to your point, it's like being in a silo by yourself. You start to notice that the impact starts to ripple throughout all the other areas of your life. And it's actually the cheat code to grow to the fastest level. If you want to be successful, then if you hang out with other successful people, you can't help but to start exhibiting those same behaviors and those same traits over time.
Yeah. It's something that I'll say inadvertently, but it's definitely purposeful that I've instituted in my gym. There's a certain type of clientele that I have, and it's a very positive mindset. It's very, self-driven. It's very self-motivated. Like, people show up because they appreciate the environment, they appreciate the coaching, but most of them don't need to be motivated to be there. And most of them don't need me to make them work hard. Like, they're already willing to do that. And it's because of the way that I have changed and treat myself that I attract like-minded people. But again, I've also surrounded myself with that same thing. And, if you're listening to this right now, John and I have an event coming up tomorrow called the $1 Million Mastermind that our mentor is putting on, which means there's 1,000 very motivated, highly productive people converging on Dallas tomorrow for this giant conference we're going to have. And a lot of these people have been locked up for over a year. So who knows what the hell's going to happen. But, I saw a post this morning of a guy who he's friends with a lot of people in this network. And he goes, the last like 24 hours of my Facebook feed has been nothing but positive, highly motivated people, people excited to go do business, people excited to go meet with other people. And, in an era where social media can be so toxic and so many people go away from it because they're like, oh my God, all it is people complaining. Like, we start filling up our news feed with that stuff. And like John said, you can't help but rise up. If all you're hearing all day long and all you're seeing all day long is people doing awesome shit. And I'm not talking about just making money. I'm talking about making impact. I'm talking about, nonprofits. Like our buddy Mike has a nonprofit that provides brand new shoes for students who need them. He's making a difference in this world. One of our Apex coaches, Jennifer, she's got some business that works with combating sex trafficking. I mean, these are big issues that are being tackled, and you sit around, you see that long enough, you're like, well, shit, I need to do some more stuff. Like, I need to make a bigger difference. Not I need to make more money. It's I need to make more impact.
Right.
And it just forces you to rise up, because otherwise you're like, well, I feel lazy now.
Well, I'll tell you the first experience I had with this, and I was too young and dumb to appreciate them. But older Jonathan looks back and goes, "Man, I'm really glad I did that." Was when I started my first online fitness business. I didn't know what I was doing, so I hired a mentor, and he lives up in New Hampshire. So I flew up there, and basically I hung out with him for a week and just observed him. And he's teaching me lessons and showing me how the online game really works. And I remember sitting there, and he was on calls back to back to back to back. And he's working with clients, he's closing deals. I'm sitting on my laptop, just like feeling the energy. Like, I just felt it. And I didn't know what the hell to do, but I was like, I gotta fucking do something. I started hitting up people, and I actually closed a couple deals myself. By the way, I didn't build my website. I didn't have any of my products built out yet. I just started reaching out to people going, hey, I'm doing this coaching thing. And I was wondering if you'd be interested in that. I know you mentioned this before. And, a lot of people were like, yeah, shoot me the details. I want to talk to you. And it was because of being in that room watching my mentor do the damn work. Like, I couldn't help sit there and go, well, I'm going to go watch Netflix while you're grinding. No, I'm going to do the work because of that atmosphere. And it's fun to be in that atmosphere. A culture of winning will create more winners every single time. And when you get yourself in the room with those winners, you can't help but be the next winner that comes out of that.
Yeah. And, so I think the other big lesson that I had to come to grips with was, most of the time you got to pay to play. The 80-20 rule plays out in every scenario. I looked around for years at other trainers that great coaches, but mediocre income, mediocre life. Everything was average. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. It wasn't what all of us dreamed of when we were, coming out of college or getting our certs or whatever. Like, nobody dreamed of making $5,000 a month and barely skating by. That wasn't the dream.
I want to be a business owner and make $5,000 a month. Out of here. Like,
terrible.
Just go get a job.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, I'd look around and that's all I would see. And I finally found a coach that obviously you got to pay for it. And all of a sudden I'm in this room with other fitness professionals who are doing things. And I'm like, oh, that's what I want to do. I want that. I want a better business. I want better systems. I want more money. I want more influence. I want more impact. But I had to pay to be in that room. And the same thing with our Apex network. Like, it costs money. But you get in those rooms with people, and it's just a different mentality from the top to the bottom. And it's that 20%. It's the 20% who are pushing. And then even in those groups, the 80-20 rule still applies.
Yeah.
Because some people think you can just buy your way in and then magic happens.
Right.
Man, wouldn't that be great? It'd be like Bitcoin, right? You just put your money in 2 years ago, and all of a sudden you're a multi-millionaire. But in this business, that's not how it happens. So, you get into these groups, and there's this great one called the Fit Pro Collective that Jonathan Loudermilk and Mark Zalmanoff run.
Shameless plug.
But part of the reason that we created the group was to have a coaching collective of people who are all striving for more and can feed off of that energy, can learn from each other, and really just be in an environment of other people pushing for more and not just accepting what the status quo is, or not thinking they have to settle for something. And and dream so small. We've been talking, that's been a reoccurring theme in our circle lately is how small we're all dreaming. Well, I just want to make this, or I just want to do this. And then you do it and you're like, oh shit, that was actually easier than I thought.
Well, I believe the worst thing you can do is set a goal too low and actually hit it.
Yeah.
You always look back going, damn, I should have asked for more, right? Versus if you set it higher, worst case, you're going to hit that middle or upper tier with it. And then you can readjust and recalibrate. But, if you're going to be in this game, which if you're listening to this, you're either in the game or you're thinking about getting into it, dream big. That's the whole point of doing this. And once again, if being an entrepreneur isn't your thing, that's cool. God bless you. Go get in where you fit in. But if you're going to be in the big game with the rest of us, you got to dream big and you got to get around the right people.
Yeah, because the right people will be the ones that when shit inevitably gets difficult, you can turn to those people and they'll be like, I know what you're going through.
Mm-hmm.
I've been there. I've seen that. I've done that. I've helped people through that. Or I'm going through it right now. Hey, let's go find the other person in our group that has been through it. You get around the right people and there's enough life experience between all of you that somebody's going to have something that they can lend some perspective on, that they can lend some advice on, or just point you in the right direction and go, okay, I can't help you with that, but I know who can.
Yeah.
And this is where you go.
Well, I can't tell you how it's crazy, man. Like ever since I've embraced being in the right room with the right people, problems that used to take me months to figure out, I can get solved in 10, 15 minutes now. That's pretty freaking cool.
I used to wonder how people got ahead, quote unquote. Like how those people get ahead so fast, how those people make money so fast. Oh, that's how you get around the right freaking people and you save time. And that's the investment that happens, I think, when you join groups that will benefit you is you're shaving time, you're shaving off that learning curve because there's other people who already learned it. And I've said this before, like experience is a great teacher, but other people's experience is an even better teacher.
Right. And then actually listening and following it. That's the other secret. If you're stubborn like me, I've had to learn that lesson the hard way.
Yeah, so some of those things we just have to. There's no way around not learning.
You get beat over the head enough times. Like, you know what? I'm just going to go, yes, sir, or yes, ma'am, whoever's giving it, and I'm just going to go do it. I'm not going to question it.
It's great. But it really, it's just changed my life. And now, I have this group, I have this big group, and then I have this small group, and you can just feel the energy. You can feel the trajectory that everyone's on. And it's so important now more than ever when there's still a lot of fear in the world. There's still a lot of people hiding with 7 masks on. There's still a lot of people that are just fearful of what's to come, and they're hoarding, so to say, or they're waiting for, I don't know what the fuck they're waiting for, but they're waiting for something to happen, or daddy CDC to tell them that they can go outside and breathe the air now. And when you're around other people who are like, nope, we're just going to keep moving forward. Like we're going to find the place and the areas to help and serve the world and make it better, regardless of what's going on outside of me. Right. It just makes you get off your ass, and it motivates you on the days where you're not motivated. You're like, well, shit, I get on Facebook and I see, 5 of my friends posting things and wins and motivational content and talking about their own struggles, but doing the work anyway. I'm like, oh, all right, off I go to do the work again.
Yeah. Well, it's doing it in spite, and I think that's where most people get tripped up, they go and they don't get the result and they go, this doesn't work, I'm going to quit. Like, dude, how many times we see that in the gym? Someone comes in, I'm ready, I'll do whatever you tell me to, coach. We'll see.
Yeah. Until you tell them to do something.
Right. A couple weeks go by, I'm like, damn, I haven't seen Bob in like 6 weeks. Bob, where you been, man? And it's because they hit that roadblock. But when you have the right culture, and it's not just that one person, but it's the collective, it's like, damn, like that's really where the group kind of manages itself. Like when you get in there, like the right people are going to step up, the wrong people are going to find a reason to leave.
Yeah. And for you Fit Pros, that applies to your clients too. I have a guy that started, it's probably been 2 months ago. And he told me from the very beginning, he's like, I quit after 3 weeks. He's like, I have he's very self-aware, and he's like, I know that happens. I last somewhere for 3 weeks and then I quit. And it's probably been 6 or 8 weeks now that he's been in my gym 4 to 5 days a week consistently. And I know a lot of it has to do with the people that he gets to work out with. It's not just, I mean, I'm great and all, but it's not me. It's not me. It can't just be me. It's the people that are around him, that when he was the new guy and came in, everyone embraced him. And what's your name? Where did you come from? How'd you meet Mark? Great to have you. What are you working on? Like him and another guy, they always do the ab wheel at the end of the workout. And it's a little thing, right? But it's a big thing because he's committing to now doing even a little bit extra at the end of every workout, to the point where if one of them's not there, they're like, hey, you see me, I'm doing the thing. Make sure you let the other guy know I did it. I didn't skip out on it. And that's the group. That's the power of having a strong group and having the right people around you in the right environments that make you want to do the work.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like, oh my God, I got to do this again. No, it's like, no, I get to do this. And we'll do a whole nother podcast on I get to. But anyway, what else we got, John? We can ramble on about this forever.
No, I think that's perfect, man. And I've seen the impact it's had in my life, your life, our clients' lives, all of our fellow brothers and sisters in Apex's lives. And if you've ever been on the fence about that, just know, like, you don't have to go right for like a tens of thousands of dollar like mastermind
Right.
gate. There are free groups you can go to. There's all types of prices and ranges. I will tell you this though, the best groups are the expensive ones because it works as a filter, but you got to start where you got to start, right? So, highly recommend you start searching for your tribe and your group, and whatever that is, lean into it and do the work.
Yeah. And, look for people who are living a life, have a business, whatever that you want.
Mm-hmm.
And success leaves clues. And that's a lot of the success that we have is just emulating what other people have already done. And that's it. And it's simple in theory. It's harder in application, but shit works.
Yeah.
So
just make sure you show up once you join. That's all you got to do, is just show up.
So if you're a Fit Pro and you need help, please reach out to John and I. We have tons of free resources. We have the free Facebook group, Real Talk with Real Fit Pros. What a great name. And we have ways that we can help you. We obviously have our coaching group, the Fit Pro Collective, where we work with coaches on mindset, foundations, client acquisition, client retention, and really just help you build the solid foundation you need for long-term success in your business. We're going to run a 90-day quote unquote free challenge. You get a whole bunch of shit bags in your gym, and then you're not going to like any of them. And you're going to cycle through that 8 times a year and feel terrible about it. We don't do any of that crap. So, like I said, if there's any way that we can help you, if you have questions, if you just want to hop on a call with either one of us, we're happy to do that. And that's what we do. That's what we love doing. Just helping Fit Pros get what they're worth,
Yeah.
Damn
good. Cool. Have a great day. Take care, everybody.